They killed my baby. I don't wish this on nobody.
A hotel worker knocks on a villa door on one of the most beautiful islands in the world. No answer. She had put in a simple request, a phone charger. Someone would bring it over. That was the arrangement. So the worker knocks again. Still nothing. An emergency key goes into the lock. The door opens. Inside the villa, a woman is found unresponsive. 4 days before that moment, the man staying a 10-minute walk away had gotten down on one knee. She said yes. She was celebrating her 31st birthday in a luxury resort in Zanzibar, Tanzania. She had just posted the happiest photo of her life. Her family had seen it. They had spoken to her. She sounded fine. She never made it home. And the man who was there, the man who was the last person connected to whatever happened inside that villa, waited 11 hours before he picked up a phone to call her family. 11 hours. He confirmed that number himself. This video will tell you everything confirmed about what happened at that resort. But the question keeping this case open is not just what happened. It is why the only person who could answer that has said absolutely nothing. Before we go any further, this case involves the death of a young woman under disputed circumstances. It covers a domestic incident between two people, an active international investigation, and an official ruling that her own family publicly rejects. There are no graphic descriptions in this video. If this is something you need to step away from, please do that now. For everyone staying, welcome to Fatal Files. This channel covers cases where the official account and the full truth are not the same thing. This is one of those cases. Drop a comment right now and tell us where in the world you are watching from. I read every single one. And if you are not already subscribed, this investigation is still active as of today. The autopsy results have not been released. The family is preparing to fly to Zanzibar. When the next development breaks on this case, subscribers on this channel get notified first. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell, because this case is far from over. Her legal name was Ashlee Robinson. Online she was Ashlee Jenae. She was born and raised in South Jersey, and she built her life in Miami, Florida. She was a lifestyle and travel content creator with 145,000 followers on Instagram, a number confirmed by Fox News on April 17, 2026. She documented real travel, real moments, real life. Her content was not manufactured. It was personal and consistent, and what kept people watching was that she genuinely looked like she was living the life she was showing them. Her father Harry put it simply when he spoke to reporters. "She's always smiling," he said. She loved being in front of the camera. That was Ashlee Jenae. Now here is how she ended up in Zanzibar. The trip had been planned around her 31st birthday on April 5, 2026. She had done the preparation, the outfits, the itinerary, the vision for the week. What she did not know was that her boyfriend of roughly a year and a half, Joe McCann, had his own plan. On April 3rd, 2 days before her birthday, during an earlier leg of the Tanzania trip on safari, McCann got down on one knee and proposed. She said yes. 2 days later, on her birthday, she was at the Zuri Zanzibar resort. She posted a photo of herself feeding a giraffe, surrounded by rose petals on the ground spelling out the letters HBD Ashlee. Her caption read, "Chapter 31 and I'm exactly where I need to be." She FaceTimed her family that same day. Her mother Yolanda later told CBS News that she sounded happy. They were in a gorgeous place in Africa and happy, Yolanda said. That post, that phone call, that is the last publicly documented version of Ashlee Jenae alive and well. Then came April 8th. Ashlee called her mother again. She said she and McCann had argued. She said the hotel had moved them into separate rooms. Nothing in that call, according to Yolanda, suggested Ashlee was in serious distress. That was the last time her family heard her voice. By April 5th, Ashlee Robinson was a woman at the beginning of something new. By April 9th, her family was waiting for a call from a hotel on the other side of the world. Most coverage of this case gives you his name, his job title, and the fact that he has not spoken publicly. Here is what those two sentences leave out. Joseph Isaac McCann was born in 1980. He attended Portland State University, where he studied philosophy, specifically the works of Nietzsche and Schopenhauer. That detail is not throwaway background. It is the beginning of a picture of a man who has spent his entire adult life constructing an identity around intelligence, risk, and unconventional thinking. His early career moved across multiple worlds. He was a DJ. He ran record labels. He had a clothing line with his brother. He served as the chief technology officer at one of the top advertising agencies in New York City. He later became the CEO of a software company that was acquired in 2019. After that, he joined Microsoft as Senior Director of Mergers, Acquisitions, Incubations and Startups, a position he held for 2 years before leaving. He also sat on the advisory boards of companies including Stardust, Dharma Labs, The Newsstand, and Voltage. In a 2024 podcast interview, he described himself as a creative who found his edge in finance. A man who moved between worlds and used that range as an advantage. That self-image was not without basis. When McCann founded Asymmetric Financial, a crypto hedge fund and venture firm, he attracted serious institutional backing almost immediately. Among his early investors were Mark Andreessen and Chris Dixon, the co-founders of Andreessen Horowitz, one of the most prominent venture capital firms in the world. That association is not a footnote. It is a signal that Asymmetric was taken seriously at the highest levels of the industry from the very beginning. By 2024, the fund was performing. Asymmetric's liquid book grew from approximately $195 million to $395 million in a single year. McCann was visible everywhere. More than 100,000 followers on X, speaking at major crypto conferences, making aggressive calls on Solana, running what he described as a financially disciplined but culturally hip operation. He was photographed with rapper Iggy Azalea. He launched an asymmetric merchandise line. The brand was thriving and so was the fund. On the personal side, McCann had previously been married to Shay Jackson, a marketing professional who has held senior roles at Google and Facebook and currently serves as Global Brand Marketing Director at Nike Schemes. They married in 2018 at the greenhouse at Driftwood in Texas. They divorced in 2021. In a social media post from 2024, McCann referenced having a wife and 2 very young children. That post came after the reported divorce and has never been publicly clarified or explained. In November 2024, Ashlee Robinson entered his life, per a post she published on her own Instagram at that time. His fund was at its peak. Their relationship began as Asymmetric was ascending. By the time they traveled to Tanzania together, the fund was gone. As of today, McCann remains detained in Tanzania as a witness. His passport has been confiscated. He has not been charged. He has not been declared a suspect. He has issued no public statement of any kind. ABC News, CBS News, NBC News, and Fox News Digital have all confirmed they reached out to McCann for comment. Not one of them received a response. No attorney has been publicly identified on his behalf. Joe McCann spent years building something extraordinary and watched it collapse. In April 2026, he was in Zanzibar with his new fiancée. What happened there is what this entire case is about. The couple arrived at the Zuri Zanzibar hotel on Nungwi Beach in the first days of April 2026. Police records indicate they were checked in no later than April 6th. They had booked 7 nights with a planned departure date of April 10th. The Zuri Zanzibar is not a budget property. It is a high-end luxury resort on the northern tip of the island. Private villas, direct beach access, one of Zanzibar's most recognized names in premium hospitality. By every external measure, this was the trip of a lifetime. And for the first few days, that is exactly what it looked like. McCann had proposed on April 3rd, during an earlier leg of the Tanzania trip on safari, 2 days before Ashlee's birthday. She said yes. On April 5th, she posted the giraffe photo, the rose petals, the caption about being exactly where she needed to be. She called her family. Her mother said she sounded happy. From the outside, 2 people in love, celebrating a birthday and a brand new engagement in one of the most beautiful corners of the world. Then witness accounts, later confirmed by police to CBS News, tell a different story about what was happening behind closed doors. According to those accounts, the couple had been quarreling frequently, not on one night, not after a single disagreement, but across multiple days of their stay from the time they arrived. The guests in the neighboring villa, identified in police records as Villa 24, reported the ongoing disturbance to hotel management. The couple was in Villa 25. Hotel staff were already aware that something was wrong before the events of April 8th unfolded. That is not a small detail. It is the difference between a couple who had one bad night in paradise and a couple whose entire stay was marked by a pattern of conflict that other guests could not ignore. On the night of April 8th, hotel management made a decision. McCann was asked to leave Villa 25 and relocate to Villa 65, a separate villa approximately 8 to 10 minutes away on foot across the resort grounds. This was not a temporary separation to let things cool down. It was a deliberate move to a completely different part of the property. That same evening, Ashlee called her mother Yolanda. She told her they had argued. She told her the hotel had moved them into separate rooms. According to Yolanda, nothing in that call suggested Ashlee was in serious danger. She sounded like a woman dealing with a difficult situation, not a woman in crisis. That call, confirmed by Yolanda to multiple outlets, is the last confirmed contact between Ashlee Robinson and her family. By the end of April 8th, Ashlee Robinson was alone in Villa 25. Her fiancé was a 10-minute walk away in Villa 65. Between that separation and the moment a hotel worker opened her door, there is a window of 2 to 3 hours that the official investigation has yet to fully account for. Whatever happened in that villa happened inside a few hours. And the only person positioned to explain that timeline has not said a single word publicly. At some point after she was moved into Villa 25 alone, Ashlee Robinson contacted hotel staff with a simple request. She needed a phone charger. A hotel worker was sent to the villa to bring it over. The worker arrived at the door and knocked. No answer. The worker knocked again. Still nothing. Using an emergency key, the worker entered the villa. Inside, Ashlee Robinson was found unresponsive. She was rushed immediately to a local hospital. On April 9, 2026, Ashlee Robinson was pronounced dead. Her family did not find out from Joe McCann. They found out from the hotel. At some point after Ashlee had been transported to hospital, McCann called Yolanda Endres. He told her that something had happened. He told her that Ashlee was being taken to the hospital. He told her Ashlee was stable. Yolanda asked him directly, "When did this happen?" His answer was 11 hours ago. That number did not come from the family's own estimate. It did not come from hotel records or police statements. It came from Joe McCann himself in that phone call, confirmed directly to Ashlee's mother when she pressed him for the timeline. Hours after that call from McCann, the hotel contacted the family again. Ashlee had died. Harry Robinson later described it to reporters this way: "The fiancé did not reach out to us at all. We found out from the hotel." That's devastating when your daughter is halfway around the world. Before we get into the full investigation, if you are not subscribed, this is the moment. The autopsy results in this case have not been released. The family is on their way to Tanzania. When that changes, this channel covers it first. Subscribe and turn on the bell. You do not want to find out about it from a comment section. On April 13, 2026, North Unguja Police Commander Benedict Mapujira stood in front of cameras and made the official position of Zanzibar law enforcement clear. Ashlee Robinson's death had been ruled a suicide. That ruling was based in significant part on the account provided by Joe McCann himself, who told authorities she had died by suicide. Police stated they did not suspect foul play. They described McCann not as a suspect but as a witness, someone who was cooperating with the investigation. His passport had been confiscated and would remain held until the autopsy process was complete. No charges had been filed. That is the official standing position as of today. What the press conference did not answer was the question of timing. McCann was not formally questioned by police until Monday, April 13th, 4 days after Ashlee died on April 9th. In the days between her death and that questioning, he remained at the resort. 4 days passed before investigators sat down with the one person who was there. The Deputy Director of Investigations, Zuri Zanzibar, has refused every journalist request for comment since the case began, offering only the same response each time: the investigation is ongoing. Now here is the development that most coverage of this case has not examined closely enough. The United States Embassy in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, dispatched a government coroner to assist local authorities with the autopsy. That is not a routine action. It means the United States government formally participated in the forensic examination of Ashlee Robinson's body. An American medical professional was present in that room. The autopsy was completed on April 15, 2026, a date confirmed to the family through the diplomatic channel that Harry Robinson had worked to establish during his trip to Washington, D.C. But the results of that autopsy have not been shared with the family. No official cause of death has been publicly established. The family knows the autopsy is done. They do not know what it found. Understanding why that matters requires understanding what forensic pathology can actually determine. An autopsy does not produce a police opinion. It produces a documented medical finding. In a case like this, it can establish the clinical cause of death with precision. It can determine whether physical injuries are consistent with the official account or inconsistent with it. It can include a full toxicology panel, identifying any substances present in Ashlee's system at the time of her death. It can also establish an approximate timeline of injury, meaning investigators can assess whether the physical evidence actually aligns with the sequence of events that has been described. These are not interpretations. They are documented findings. The significance of a United States government coroner being in that room is specific and consequential. That coroner's conclusions go back to the U.S. Embassy. If those findings align with the Tanzanian ruling, the official account gains medical support. If they diverge, if the American medical professionals' findings contradict what Tanzanian authorities concluded, that divergence becomes the formal basis for United States diplomatic or legal escalation of this case. The preliminary suicide ruling issued by Zanzibar police has not been confirmed by the autopsy process. Officially and medically, it remains preliminary. It remains subject to revision depending on what that examination found. The family has also issued a specific and documented demand that goes beyond the autopsy. Harry Robinson stated it plainly, "There are cameras everywhere at a resort and that will match the timeline." He is correct. The Zuri Zanzibar is a luxury property with surveillance infrastructure. Cameras at entrances, walkways, hallways, and common areas across the grounds. If that footage has been preserved, it would show exactly what time McCann left Villa 25 on the night of April 8th. It would show whether he returned at any point before Ashlee was found. It would show the movements of hotel staff during that 2 to 3 hour window between the separation and the discovery. It would show whether anyone else entered or exited any relevant area of the resort during that period. Tanzanian investigators have had access to the resort since April 9th. Whether that footage has been reviewed, secured, or preserved as evidence has not been publicly confirmed. The autopsy is done. A U.S. government medical professional participated in it. The family has requested the surveillance footage. And as of today, none of those answers have been shared with the people who need them most. While investigators in Zanzibar moved at their own pace, Ashlee Robinson's family moved faster. In the days following her death, Harry Robinson got in his car and drove to Washington, D.C. He did not go to make a phone call or send an email. He went in person directly to U.S. officials and he pushed. Not for condolences. Not for sympathy. For action. He told reporters afterward, "No one wants to talk to us. Just let us know what happened. That is the only thing we want to know. The truth." That trip produced results that are traceable and confirmed. U.S. officials made direct contact with Tanzanian authorities. The Robinson family was informed that the autopsy on their daughter had been completed. The United States Embassy dispatched a coroner to participate in that examination. Those 3 outcomes did not happen on their own. They happened because a father refused to accept silence and drove to the capital of his country and demanded that the system move. Harry Robinson has also announced that the family intends to travel to Zanzibar personally, to be physically present in the country, to seek in person the answers that phone calls and diplomatic channels have not produced. Ashlee's sister, Alyssa Endres, gave her first public interview to NBC News. She spoke about who her sister was in the days surrounding the birthday and the engagement. She described Ashlee as happy. No signs of distress. No darkness. Nothing that suggested anything was wrong. Her words were straightforward. "None of this makes sense. That is why we are so lost. And that is why we just want answers." Then there is Savannah Britt, Ashlee's close friend and a PR executive by profession. Shortly after news of Ashlee's death began to circulate, Britt posted on X and named McCann directly. She wrote, "We need justice for my friend Ashlee Jenae, who was found dead in her hotel in Tanzania, and her fiancé Joe McCann claims she hung herself. Anyone who knows Ash knows she would never commit suicide. We need answers now." In a separate post, Britt highlighted something that deserves to stand on its own. "I find it very alarming," she wrote, "that an American woman died abroad days ago, and prior to my initial tweet nothing had been said from our State Department, Tanzanian government, or local media. That silence, at every institutional level, is precisely what this family has been fighting against since April 9th. Beyond social media, the Human Rights Association, chaired by Saad Kassis Mohammed, entered the case formally. The HRA issued a written call on the government of Tanzania to order an independent investigation into the circumstances of Ashlee's death. At the same time, the organization urged the United States State Department to engage directly with Tanzanian authorities on the Robinson family's behalf. The HRA's stated position was direct. Where the cause of death of a foreign national is disputed by her own family, the host government's obligation to investigate transparently is not discretionary. That is not a request. That is a formal statement of legal and ethical obligation directed at a sovereign government. On the financial side, Harry Robinson launched a GoFundMe campaign to cover the costs of travel, investigation, and the eventual repatriation of Ashlee's remains. The goal was set at $50,000. As of April 15, 2026, the campaign had raised over $42,000 from people who had never met Ashlee Robinson but who understood exactly what this family was trying to do. The Robinson family has also engaged legal representation in the United States and is working directly with the U.S. Department of State to obtain further information. The investigation is expected to continue for several more weeks. A father who drove to Washington. A sister speaking for the first time. A friend whose post made the world pay attention. An international human rights body telling Tanzania this is not optional. That is what this family assembled, with no official answers, in under 2 weeks. Fatal Files will cover the autopsy results the moment they are released. When the family lands in Zanzibar, we will cover what they find. This channel is on this case until there is a real answer. Subscribe now and make sure you are here when that happens. Here is where things stand. The autopsy results have not been released to the family or to the public. No official cause of death has been established. No charges have been filed against anyone. Joe McCann has not issued a single public statement since Ashlee Robinson died. He has not contacted her family since that one phone call. ABC News, CBS News, NBC News, and Fox News Digital have all confirmed they reached out to McCann for comment. Not one of them received a response. No attorney has been publicly identified on his behalf. Ashlee Robinson's body remains in Tanzania. Her family cannot bring her home until the official process concludes and her remains are cleared for repatriation. The institutions have offered their words. The Zanzibar Ministry of Tourism and Heritage urged patience and asked the public to allow law enforcement to proceed with due process. The U.S. State Department said it was monitoring the case and offered its condolences. The Zuri Zanzibar resort said it was cooperating with local authorities and the U.S. Embassy. None of those words are answers. The questions that remain are not complicated. What did the autopsy find? What does the hotel surveillance footage show? Why did 11 hours pass before the family received a phone call? What does Joe McCann know that he has not said? Ashlee Jenae Robinson was 31 years old. South Jersey. Miami. 145,000 people followed her because she looked like she was genuinely living the life she was reaching for. Her last public words were, "Chapter 31 and I'm exactly where I need to be." As of today there is no cause of death, no charges, no statement and no results. And a family about to board a plane to Tanzania because no one on the ground has given them a reason to stay home. This case is not resolved. Fatal Files is not done covering it. Say her name in the comments. Ashlee Jenae. Ashlee Robinson. She deserved to come home. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. When the next development drops, this channel covers it first. And tell me in the comments, do you think the full truth about what happened in that villa has come out yet? Every comment keeps this story in front of people who need to see it. If you or someone you know needs support, call or text 988. For Ashlee. I'll see you in the next one.